Live from Akwacha Studios in Blantyre, we bring you the lunch edition of NBC News, and you are with me, Evelis Chingambe. Coming up this afternoon, President Professor Arthur Peter Mutharika and the First Lady Professor Gertrude Mutharika back in the country following a private visit to South Africa. Renowned journalist Brian Banda confirmed as new Director General of Public Broadcaster Malawi Broadcasting Corporation, MBC. And Anti-Corruption Bureau moves in to freeze bank accounts holding proceeds of the Amaryllis hotel deal. Thank you for joining us. Now the news in detail. President Professor Arthur Peter Mutharika and the First Lady Professor Gertrude Mutharika are back in the country following a private visit they undertook to South Africa. Our reporter Main Tumotsi with the details.
At exactly 10 minutes after 5 on Thursday afternoon, the plane carrying President Professor Arthur Peter Mutharika touched down at Kamuzu International Airport in Lilongwe. Upon arrival, the Malawi leader, who was accompanied by the First Lady Professor Gertrude Mutharika, was welcomed by the Chief Secretary to Government, Justin Saidi. He then inspected a guard of honor mounted by the Malawi Defense Force. President Mutharika left for the Republic of South Africa on 1st March 2025 for a private visit. Maim Tumodzi, NBC News, Lilongwe.
Vice President Dr. Chen Ansah has stressed the need to respect the rights of persons with disabilities as a key step towards their economic empowerment. She made the call at Wemba Baptist Ground in Lilongwe during the distribution of assorted items under the Chen Ansah Foundation. Charles Wahara reports.
During the ceremony, Dr. Ansah emphasized that human suffering should be alleviated through interventions, like what her foundation is currently pursuing across the country. She further added that it is for this reason that the Dr. Chen Ansah Foundation exists, to ensure that persons with albinism and disabilities have their rights respected and are economically empowered.
What I want to see is the realization of the right to development, the right to engage in economic activity. These rights are in Section 29 and 30 of the Constitution, where everyone has got a right to engage in economic activity and everyone has got the right to development. The right to development is not about handouts. The right to development is about creating an inducive environment where everybody on an equal basis will access development. And equal basis, within it, there's a reverse discrimination.
Through the Dr. Chen Ansah Foundation, the first Vice President has donated maize flour, bicycles, clothes and sunscreen lotion to persons with albinism. Charles Wahara, NBC News, Lilongwe.
Minister of Natural Resources and Environment Patricia Whiskers has appealed for support towards the underprivileged living in urban and semi-urban areas. She made the appeal at Nyasa Ground in Area 49 Lilongwe, where Beautify Malawi BIM Trust distributed relief food items to vulnerable people in the city. More in this report.
Whiskers, who is also a Member of Parliament for Lilongwe City Nankaka constituency, held the support from Beautify Malawi Trust, saying it has targeted the ultra-poor in urban areas, a group often overlooked by relief programs. She noted that many people in towns live in poverty, largely due to unemployment.
It's really a timely intervention, as currently my constituency is experiencing a lot of hunger in the community. It is a constituency that is semi-urban. However, there is a big population within the constituency that are not working and do not have proper businesses or establishments. So these are people that are staying in town, but they are suffering. They are staying in people's unfinished houses, and this help today that has come with a 20 kg bag of flour, soya pieces and salt has actually come at a very good time when these people are actually struggling.
In her remarks, BIM Trust representative Fanny Kajale said the trust remains committed to assisting people affected by hunger and other various disasters across the country.
We have been sent by Her Excellency Professor Gertrude Mutharika, the First Lady of the Republic of Malawi. In Beautify Malawi, she is our patron, and having received several gifts from well-wishers, she is donating these items, which is maize flour, soya pieces and salt, to to different communities. And today she saw it fit that we share with Area 49 Nankaka constituency, knowing that this is a season where we have famine and there are people who are needy. That's why we are here.
Joyce Mtalika from Area 49 Dubai expressed gratitude for the assistance from BIM. A total of 500 people received the donation, which included maize flour, soya pieces and salt. Mwaim Tumodzi, MBC News, Lilongwe.
Speaker of Parliament Samir Suleiman has engaged members of the private sector in Blanja with a call for continued collaboration. According to the Speaker, the initiative is part of the Parliament of Malawi's intervention to enhance transparency and accountability to Malawians. We have a report by Geoffrey Jinawa.
Speaking during the interaction, the Speaker of Parliament, Samir Suleiman, pointed out a number of areas the two sectors can work together on for the betterment of the country. Suleiman expressed the Parliament's will to work with the private sector in scrapping off laws and policies that affect their growth. He further vowed to spearhead the approach of conducting investigations and inquiries and reaching to their logical conclusion to cement its oversight role.
We will strengthen our oversight role, and that's why we're engaging the CSOs to assist us in that area, the private sector. And there is a lot of goodwill. We have received a lot of support and promised a lot of support, more especially from the international CSOs, and it's encouraging. We have seen how we are doing our inquiries now. We will not stop there, but we will continue. That any issue that Malawians are not happy with, we should investigate it. We should inquire about it and give Malawians the truth. And as I've said so many times, that inquiries this time will have reports. Unlike in the past, no inquiry done by Parliament had reached a report stage. Because of the same thing, I'm talking about full autonomy.
President of the Malawi Confederation of Chambers of Commerce and Industry, MCCCI, Wisely Piri, commended the Speaker of the National Assembly for championing the initiative and called for more of such engagements.
So there are always issues. As Chamber of Commerce, we've got a number of members, and our members are companies. And I think this is another discussion that we've had within the chamber. Different companies from different sectors, they normally have their own issues. And we've seen sometimes where these companies would go on their own and say, but we know this type of law for us to be helped. But sometimes it has to be corrective. You might need something that the moment the Parliament passes, it also affects another industry. So where we have this access at the chamber, I think it's on our side also to sit down where we look and say, our members are saying this, but then collectively, what should we do? What should we carry to the Parliament and say, this is what we should do?
Suleiman had a similar session with members of the private sector in the central region. The session has brought together a cross-section of authorities in the private sector and senior officials from the Parliament of Malawi.
Minister of Information and Communications Technology Shadrack Namalomba says digitalization has the potential to drive Malawi's economic growth if fully implemented across key sectors. Namalomba said this in Lilongwe after Naito Yasushi, Japan's ambassador to Malawi, paid a courtesy call on him. The two discussed strengthening collaboration to advance the country's digitalization agenda, and Smart Shalika has a report.
Speaking after the meeting, Namalomba urged the Japanese government to continue supporting Malawi's digitalization efforts, noting that the modern technology is crucial for improving service delivery and promoting economic development. He added that the Democratic Progressive Party DPP government, under the leadership of Professor Arthur Mutharika, is committed to ensuring that Malawi adopts digital systems across various sectors to help address some of the country's current challenges.
When they came, we talked around that and appreciated this support, but also had the opportunity of relaying the vision of His Excellency Professor Arthur Mutharika in the area of digitalization. As you are aware that we have been directed that in government we should embrace digital reforms in the service delivery. So I pitched to the ambassador, His Excellency, the idea of taking on board digital reforms.
In his remarks, Yasuch said the Japanese government remains committed to supporting Malawi's development and will continue working with the government to promote digitalization and economic growth.
On the future challenges, current challenges and future challenges of Malawi, we would like to enhance our collaboration. Precisely in the area of Minister's portfolio, information of training exchanges, and also we stress the importance of digitalization.
The meeting is expected to strengthen cooperation between Malawi and Japan, particularly in digital technology, which the government says is key to the country's economic transformation. Smart Charika, MBC News, Lilongwe.
The Anti-Corruption Bureau has disclosed that it will soon issue an order to freeze holding bank accounts for proceeds of the Amaryllis Hotel. Acting Director General for the Anti-Corruption Bureau, Gabriel Chembezi, disclosed this during an ongoing public inquiry into the dubious sale of the hotel. Chembezi hopes that the move will help preserve resources suspected to be proceeds of a criminal activity. He explains.
We had indicated that the SCB would reopen the investigation on the sale of Amaryllis Hotel if it found new evidence of corruption. Now, with this process, and also after learning that the fund had proceeded to purchase the hotel without reverting back to SCB on the issues we had raised, as SCB, we have made a decision to say now there is new evidence that points to corruption or alleged corruption. It is on that basis that we are going to reopen the investigations based on the new evidence that we have been receiving through these proceedings and through what we heard that the sale had proceeded. Yes, now, since the money is under investigations, so we'll freeze the account to preserve it until we conclude the investigations based on the new evidence that we have or that we are finding.
And Stephen Malondera is chairperson of the Public Accounts Committee.
When the SCB director came, honourable members wanted to find out if he is conflicted, that at any point in his career, if he had a chance to interact or represent Yusuf Investment, who is the owner of Amaryllis Hotel. But the SCB director refused under oath that he has never done that. So we proceeded, having noted that there are still gaps, and we've recommended that maybe going forward there's a need for capacity building within SCB because few things were not making sense.
This is MBC News and you are with me, Evelis Chingambi. A reminder of the top stories. President Professor Arthur Peter Mutharika and the First Lady Professor Gertrude Mutharika back in the country following a private visit to South Africa. Renowned journalist Brian Banda confirmed as new Director General of Public Broadcaster Malawi Broadcasting Corporation (MBC). And Anti-Corruption Bureau moves in to freeze bank accounts holding proceeds of the Amaryllis Hotel deal. Welcome back. The Board of Directors of the Malawi Broadcasting Corporation (MBC) has confirmed the appointment of Brian Banda as the new Director General. In a statement signed by Board Chairperson Benson Tembo, Banda is expected to assume his duties next week. The board says it has confidence in Banda's ability to advance the corporation's mandate and strengthen its operations. Banda replaces Moses Jioni, who had been serving in an acting capacity following the suspension of George Kasagula. Meanwhile, former Director General of the Malawi Broadcasting Corporation (MBC), George Kasagula, together with the corporation's former Director of Finance, Jack Kamachari are expected to appear in court today. The two are suspected of abusing their offices, allegedly authorizing the broadcasting of advertisements without payment and being involved in matters related to the procurement of a vehicle for the public broadcaster during their tenure. More to come in our subsequent bulletins. Government says strengthening collaboration in the maritime sector is key to reducing trade costs and improving Malawi's competitiveness on the global market. Minister of Local Government Ben Perry, who represented the Minister of Transport, said this when he opened a maritime sensitization workshop in Lilongwe. Miriam Kaliza reports.
Stakeholders in the transport and trade sectors have gathered in Lilongwe for a sensitization workshop aimed at promoting best practices in shipping and international trade. Government says collaboration in the maritime sector is critical to improving trade efficiency and lowering the cost of doing business. Speaking during the meeting, Minister of Local Government Ben Perry said Malawi is exploring ways of reducing transport costs, which currently account for over 40% of the cost of goods moving in and out of the country.
It is very important for us to find ways of mitigating that fact. Among others, the best would be to open up our seas, our water system. Otherwise, we have a situation that we can't compete globally, because whatever we want to export, with that 40% that is added to our product, you will not find any buyer. No buyer wants to buy at an exorbitant price because of budget constraints and others. And as Malawi government, we're doing all we can. As you heard from the speech from the PS, they are opening up the lake services. All that is to facilitate trade and make sure that we reduce our transport costs. But of course, there will be a bit of it on hinterland that after you've done whether air or water, you will have to take it on the road. But if you reduce that particular cost, you will be reducing our cost on our products probably by 35% or thereabouts, which now will help us to compete at a global level.
Secretary General of the Maritime Organization for Eastern, Southern and Northern Africa, Kasimu Mpata, said Malawi's membership in the regional body will help align national policies with international shipping standards. Mpata noted that about 90% of global trade is transported by sea, yet African countries have limited participation in the shipping industry.
Originally, we have not paid enough attention to issues of maritime. We have concentrated on other modes of transport with the belief that maritime may be for coastal countries, for countries which have vessels and all that. But right now, in this era, we are beginning to see a revived commitment by regional states. 90% of our trade is transported by sea. And therefore, in as long as we do recognize that our trade mainly comes by vessels, which don't mainly belong to us, we need to pay attention to issues of maritime. And by going into matters, interests of maritime, we are trying to understand how the cost of transportation of our goods from overseas is concerned. We must interrogate the policies under which our cargo is transported. We must also understand whether we have got enough participation. But also, we need to have a conversation which promotes our participation in the transportation of our trade, because 100% of this maritime trade we are talking about is basically transported by foreign carriers, which doesn't give us the leverage and the capacity to understand how this affects us in terms of cost of doing business.
Cross-border traders have welcomed the development, saying improved maritime systems will ease the movement of goods. Tabitha Kapengule is one of the cross-border traders.
It's important to us cross-border traders because it will facilitate our trade. By importing and exporting, we are looking forward to them helping us in all those transactions that we do. We import clothes, we import medicines, we import a lot of merchandise from South Africa, Tanzania, Kenya, China. And we also export agricultural products, leather, and so on. So we're looking forward really to this workshop. It will help us a lot.
Malawi recently joined the Maritime Organization for Eastern, Southern and Northern Africa as part of efforts to strengthen regional cooperation in maritime transport and trade logistics. Miriam Kaliza, NBC News, Lilongwe.
Mbera District Council has intensified patrols in Perigesi Forest to protect the resource in accordance with the 2025 amended Forestry Act. Assistant Forestry Officer for the Council, Arden Ngoma, says, for instance, in January and February this year alone, 12 people have been arrested, of which 8 have already been sentenced, while 4 cases are still in court. Musase Jeyo reports.
According to Ngoma, the old laws had some loopholes in dealing with perpetrators of environmental destruction. The Assistant Forestry Officer further indicated that the amended act will help to improve the situation, as 12 cases have already been registered from January this year.
The new amended act, which has been amended in 2025, it has added some gears in as far as the law enforcement is concerned. One of the amended law is that previously entering into a protected area was not an offense, but this time entering in a protected area is an offense. So, as law enforcers, we will be able to make arrests, especially those who have just entered in a protected area, and once they are arrested, they will be answering charges before the court.
One of the stakeholders, Ruwawa Environmental Trust, said the institution will continue to assist the council in law enforcement, awareness and other duties to jointly conserve the environment, as explained by the front office manager, Sarah Chumacha Zungupiri.
We are geared to provide environmental education so that at least these people have to see that the impact of things like climate change are affecting everyone. So if we teach them, at least they'll be able to understand, and when they decide to stop, they're going to stop for good, and they'll be able to join us in taking care of the environment.
Perekezi is one of the forests in Mzimba that are under threat due to human activities like charcoal burning. Musase Cheyo, NBC News, Mzuzu.
And now in sports, Executive Director for Finland-based organization Laiki Sports and Development Foundation, Ari Koivu, says the Sports for Education project they are running at Koriatu Community Day Secondary School in Cholo could be extended to other schools if it becomes a success. Apart from using sports to keep learners in school, the program also includes rehabilitation of football, netball and volleyball fields at the school. The 6-month project is being implemented in partnership with the Malawi National Council of Sports and Bira Muzimatu. UEFA Foundation for Children is funding the program with 40,000 euros.
We have now a small budget of 40,000 euros altogether to do the maintenance of the sports fields, to provide sports equipment and these trainings for the Kolaiti school. So this is kind of like a pilot project. If the boys and girls will stay in the school, they learn and they're active in the physical activities. So then after this, we hope that once also the football fields and netball and volleyball fields are maintained, and we have new goal posts, netball posts, we have active football teams from the whole village, and even for the adults and for the parents, they will be active and seeing what their children are doing. So then we hope that if the results are good enough, so then we can continue with our favorite sponsor, UEFA Foundation for Children, to increase the number of schools that will be also receiving this education through sports, and now at the moment especially through football, like what UEFA is doing.
And that's it from our newsroom this afternoon. A recap of our top stories before we leave. President Professor Arthur Peter Mutharika and the First Lady Professor Gertrude Mutharika back in the country following a private visit to South Africa. Renowned journalist Brian Banda confirmed as new Director General of Public Broadcaster Malawi Broadcasting Corporation, MBC. And Anti-Corruption Bureau moves in to freeze bank accounts holding proceeds of the Amaryllis hotel deal. Keep up to date with our news by visiting MBC Digital on Facebook, X and Instagram. You've been with me, Evelis Chingambe. Thanks for watching and good afternoon.